Hello and welcome to Meet Your Double Feature. My name is Thomas, joined as always by my brother Frank. Frank, how's it going?
Man, so excited. I haven't been this excited since that time I got addicted to caffeine pills.
I'm just gonna roll right over that information. Welcome back to our science series. Is that a Saved by the Bell reference?
Yeah, it was.
Oh, because she sings the song. Okay,
she's singing the song. Yeah. That
I
was
thought
a
you just
personal
had
anecdote about being addicted.
I thought you just had something
pills.
to get off your chest.
Can you even get addicted? Is that a thing? I always thought that was weird in the show. Like,
what does she do? She gets addicted to pain pills, and then she sings the "I'm so excited."
Pain pill? No, it's not. It's caffeine pills. She's addicted to caffeine pills.
Yeah. I'm addicted to pain pills.
Yeah, that's right. That's your addiction. Yeah.
All right. Anyway, welcome back to our ongoing series here on the channel, ranking every movie ever made. A show where Frank and I pull movies out of a hat and rank them on one definitive list of every film ever made, ranked from best to worst. It is an ongoing series, and we're going to not stop until we've ranked every movie.
Yeah, it should be pretty easy.
Yeah, probably like 6 or 7 episodes. We'll be pretty caught up.
Yeah, I mean, how many movies could there be?
How many, really?
I don't know. I forgot the hat, by the way. You said pull him out of a hat. I don't have.
Oh, we forgot the hat. Oh gosh.
Yeah.
Pulling him off a pile on the ground, I guess.
Yeah. I got a wheel. We got a wheel we can spin.
Oh, we got a wheel. Yeah. So the rules of the game, in case you've never seen an episode, which I will say, maybe start with episode 1. We've ranked 20 movies already. You're gonna be confused.
Do whatever you want. Don't listen to him.
The way things work is I've made a list of virtually every movie that Frank or I has ever seen, and I've listed them all out alphabetically. And then I'm going to have Frank spin me a random number generator. He'll give me a number, and I'll find the corresponding entry, and then we'll use that as our first movie to discuss for the day. So, given that, Frank, I think we should just launch right in. I'm going to put an hour on the clock, and we'll see how many movies we can rank on our definitive professional list.
Professional? Okay. What makes it professional? Is there like an amateur version of this list out there?
Yeah, everybody else is.
Oh, got him!
Destroyed.
It's like the wasted, like GTA.
Yeah. All right. So, for the first time today, Frank, go ahead and spin your wheel. Pick a piece of paper up off the ground because you don't have a hat.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Are you ready? Are you sure you're ready? Do you need to like take a breather
ready.
Before I do this?
Deep breaths. Deep breaths. Let me know.
Okay.
That sounds good. That sounds good in the microphone.
All right. Number 1. Well, not number 1. The first number out of the list is 1,157.
1,157. Let's see what that is on our alphabetical list.
I got a good feeling about this one. I think this is a movie that I like, and I've definitely seen it before.
Oh, you got to be kidding me! This is an insane pull, Frank. I think your wheel's weighted. Okay, so in the first episode, we pulled and had a lengthy discussion about Star Wars Episode 2, Attack of the Clones.
Yes.
And on a list that has like 2,000 other movies on it, you have started the day with Star Wars Episode 3, Revenge of the Sith.
Oh, yes! All right,
what are the odds of that?
I don't know. Somebody could do the math on that and figure out the actual odds, but I'm not going to. Never tell me the odds, if you will.
Never tell. Yeah. That's what Count Dooku says.
That's what Count Dooku says. Thunderous applause, Count Dooku. So I'm thinking number 1. We're just going to bump that right up to.
Okay. So this is if you look at the list as it stands right now, Attack of the Clones pretty high up, and we did 20 minutes I think in our first Remem episode talking about why we both like it. Maybe a little too much. But I guess, gosh, I mean, where to even begin? Because Revenge of the Sith, I guess, in the Star Wars prequel context, do you generally think that it's better than the previous 2? Like episodes 1 and 2?
Man, as I'm sure I mentioned in some way when we talked about Attack of the Clones, I am both like one of the best people and one of the worst people to ask about the prequels because I could go on and on about them all day long because I love them. Now, that being said, which one's the I guess we're really asking what's the best of the three. If we're looking at Phantom Menace, which hasn't been pulled yet, but is part of this conversation, I would say Phantom Menace, Attack of the Clones, and Revenge of the Sith. A lot of people think Revenge of the Sith is the best one. And I think I'm going to agree with that. I think it is. I think just the emotional peak. I mean, Anakin versus Obi-Wan, like the music, it's just like, it's pure cinema. It's throw up, Marty, because that's what it is.
Yeah, because I do think that it's a conversation about how trilogies work, because people say this about Lord of the Rings too. They're like, well, which is the best one? Is it the first one because it kicks off the story and has the most like inciting momentum, or is it the one that finally finishes telling you the story? But with Star Wars, you can at least separate it a little bit more, because where a lot of other trilogies are a little bit more consistent, the 3 Star Wars prequels are all kind of different feeling films. Like, it feels like they were kind of reacting to fan pushback on certain things. I know the later ones just ditched, like Jar Jar Binks, for example, who probably was supposed to be more involved originally.
He definitely was, yeah.
The Star Wars prequel films are more distinct movie to movie than other trilogies are. So I think it's a little bit easier to separate them.
Yeah, that's totally fair. I especially comparing it to Lord of the Rings. Lord of the Rings I always see as like, that's just like one connected piece of media. That's just one really long story told over 3 films.
Yeah.
The Star Wars prequels even have time jumps in between each one. So that kind of separates them out even more if you're looking at it like just narratively speaking too. But as you said as well, just like tonally, like the vibes of the 3 are all different in their own way. But yeah, I would say Revenge of the Sith is the best one, or my favorite of the 3.
Well, it's a professional list, so we're gonna say it's because it's the best one, even if it is just because it's our favorite.
Well, yeah. Well, and again, I'm looking at the list, and I don't know what we're ranking this on, but I don't know if I can, in good conscience, put Men in Black above Revenge of the Sith. I mean, I feel like Revenge of the Sith has just got to go to the top. That's just me.
Oh my gosh, this whole thing feels like an agenda just to say that the Star Wars prequels are good, because we keep pulling them and putting them at the top of the list.
This is
really quick.
A professional list.
It's a professional list. It will not be contested. I do want to mention some thoughts, because Revenge of the Sith was in theaters not that long ago. Per time of recording, I think we both saw it sometime last year. Were you able to go to the theatrical release?
Oh, yeah, for sure. Oh man, I think I might have mentioned it too. So this is just a quick aside. I live in West Hollywood, so the viewers can dox me now. But last year when Revenge of the Sith was in theaters, the El Capitan Theater is like really nearby to where I live, and I almost went to a screening there. Like, I think it was like the night of the release, the re-release for Revenge of the Sith. And I was like debating it, and then it was like kind of late or something, and I was like, you know what, never mind. It's the weekend, I'll like go tomorrow or something. And that screening that I almost went to, Hayden Christensen and Sam Jackson showed up to that screening at the El Capitan Theater and like introed the movie. Yeah, and I was like, oh my God. Yes, both of them were there, and like Sam Jackson was like, Mace lives. It's like, and I was so
clearly wrong, but go ahead.
Yeah. I was so pissed that I didn't go to that screen, but then I went and saw it that same weekend. I went and saw it at AMC, and like they had that little fun thing beforehand where it was like Hayden was like, "This is where the fun begins." He did his little
they did
Anakin quote. That's
a trend with a lot of theatrical re-releases lately, is they'll film some sort of new footage and have someone come on to talk about it. I went and saw they put Lord of the Rings back in theaters not that long ago, and they had Peter Jackson film some just like rambling monologue before each one. That was pretty funny.
That's cool. Yeah.
What I wanted to mention about Revenge of the Sith, because obviously we've seen it several times, we've been watching it since we were kids, but when I saw it most recently, I was struck about the structure of that 3rd prequel film, because it's weirdly lopsided towards the first act, where there's something like 10 or 11 scenes in a row after the action sequence at the beginning that's just Hayden Christensen going to talk to somebody in a room and then going to talk to somebody else in a room. Like, they're so stressed for time to sell the turn to the dark side angle with him that they've poorly built up and have just like run out of runway for, that he has to go like do all of his character arc in a series of short repetitive scenes that honestly don't go very well as a sequence. Like he'll just go talk to Palpatine and then go talk to Padme and then go talk to Obi-Wan and then go talk to Mace Windu, and nothing happens in between any of these sequences. But because I've already seen the movie, I like know that it's building towards a big action beat at the end as well. But I can only imagine the first time seeing Revenge of the Sith, like if I'd been older maybe when I first watched it, I would have been like, what is happening? Is this just like Politics the movie? Like there's no more action, there's no more variation. We're just in the city, we're in Coruscant doing politics for like an hour.
Well, I mean, again, this ties back into people's initial reactions when the films came out to how they're perceived now. There's a whole generation of people that like love them now as opposed to how people felt about them at the time. I don't think like there's definitely, they're flawed films in many ways, but that's almost what is so endearing about them and why I think they've lasted this test of time, and why people love them so much is because they're uniquely flawed. There's a lack of just directing. The performances are not great. Narratively, it's kind of a mess. Like it's ridiculous. You have 3 movies to tell a story with a very clear ending of your heroic Jedi figure falls to the dark side and becomes the like iconic villain that everybody already knows. And the movie feels like it forgot that's what was supposed to happen until the last 40 minutes. And then they're like, oh no, hit the gas, he's killing younglings, speed it up. Like, it's so weird. It is weird. And I've never really fully been able to make the connection between Hayden Christensen's Anakin Skywalker and like the Darth Vader from the original films. I just can't see those two as the same character. Does that make sense? Yeah. It's just like, that's what we were supposed to be leading to. But I'm just like, these are 2 different people. Like, and a lot of that is because of the way the films were made. Like the original films made first, and then way later we came back and tried to tell this prequel story. And it didn't really connect in that way. But to some people, this might be total blasphemy, but I'm not the biggest fan of the original movies. I appreciate them, but
cut his mic, pull the feed.
I absolutely like appreciate them. I think they're interesting to talk about in terms of how they changed a lot of things in terms of like Hollywood blockbusters, and their actual impact on like film history is really interesting, and like the ripple effects of what those original films did. But I mean, I just grew up, I'm of that age group that grew up on the prequels. And so it's a lot of nostalgia, but there's just so much that I like could genuinely argue for about them. So
I do think that, like you said, this could turn into a 2-hour dissertation about the various strengths and weaknesses of Revenge of the Sith, but we got the rest of a show to do. So I feel like for the list we have right now, we've only ranked 20 movies so far. We're pulling them at random. There's nothing on the list yet that's like high art or especially meaningful films or things that people would be really mad to see us put below these Star Wars prequels. So why don't we just drop Revenge of the Sith off at number 1 and just know that it can hang out there for a time until a real movie shows up to overtake it.
It's our list, okay? There's only one. It's the only one in existence that's ranking every single movie ever made, and I feel good that at one point, both Attack of the Clones and Revenge of the Sith were on top.
We're both on there. If we pull Phantom Menace, then you're going to have to argue that it's better than whatever's on the list at that time, and that could be a harder sell. But we've managed to get 2 different Star Wars prequels to the top. So that really shows you the kind of people we are.
They're great. There's a certain percentage of people listening that are going to 100% agree with this.
Absolutely. Okay, Revenge of the Sith, currently, for the time being, greatest movie of all time, much like the film before it. So we'll leave that there. I'm going to let that hang. And Frank, why don't you go ahead and spin the wheel, and we'll grab another movie.
I can't believe that was the first one. Just opening with Revenge of the Sith. Wild. Shut up.
Sorry.
Okay. Next one is 616.
Okay, 616. Oh, no. What is this?
Oh, no.
2016's Hypernormalisation. I gotta look
What?
up what this movie even is.
Hypernormalization is the title of the film?
Yeah, I have a faint memory. I think this is a documentary I watched in college for a class. AKA, I
Okay.
don't remember. I probably wrote a paper about it. I have to jog my memory, though.
Let's pull that paper up. What grade did you get? Do you remember?
Probably an A. I was good at papers.
Probably an A. This guy.
I'm just
Okay.
saying. Listen, there was one time for a film class where I had to write a paper about the first Tim Burton Batman movie. And I remember I got a C on it. And I was really surprised because usually my papers did pretty well. And I was so offended that I didn't even read the feedback. I just like walked out of class and threw it away. Because I was like, you're a C. I'm a B. I'm Batman.
All right. Well, that's great. Thank you. That's funny.
Okay. Oh my gosh. This blurb on Wikipedia about hypernormalization is making me tired. Okay. Hypernormalization, and this is a direct quote from Wikipedia, is a
Okay.
2016 BBC documentary by British filmmaker Adam Curtis. It argues that following the global economic crises of the 70s, governments, financiers, and technological utopians gave up on trying to shape the real world and instead established a simpler, fake world for the benefit of multinational corporations. Which is just a true sentence? I don't know how it's a movie.
Well, you said it's a documentary, though, right? So they're exposing these truths to people?
Yes, it says it contains 9 chapters and is composed primarily of montage with voiceover. Again, that's just describing what a documentary is. Oh my god. This is this is just current geopolitics as a documentary. Is there like a separate list? Can we give this like not even a number?
No. So let's see. Do we think current modern geopolitics or
Listen, it's got to be better than Geostorm. If we look down at the
Okay.
bottom of the current list.
is it better than 48? Because I was looking at in between Cinderella Story and Sailor Moon, but you went a little lower. So you put it where it feels right. You're the one that saw this.
I did see this.
You wrote a paper about it. You
I wrote a
probably got
paper.
an A, or you got pissed and threw it in the trash. One of the two.
I like that my evidence for why I was good at writing papers is I wrote a bad one and I refused to take feedback and so I threw it away.
Yeah. That's how the best do it. That's how
they do
that's how
it.
winning is done.
I'm a maverick. Okay. It's a documentary. I like documentaries. There are many that I would put much higher on the list. Hypernormalization sounds like a boring, tired documentary, but it's about an important issue. And I'm sure that I agreed with a lot of the stuff it presented, which makes it better. But personally, I think movies are both a tool to inform and challenge people's opinions, but also they're here for entertainment. And a really dry BBC documentary does only one of those two things. So I'm going to put it, I think you're exactly right. Maybe even below 48 hours.
Okay. I have no objection. I don't know what this is, so I have no objection to wherever you want to put it.
Look, my apologies to the hardworking journalists at the BBC, but your movie's boring to me, and I'm not going to rank it any higher.
Was that the opening paragraph of your essay?
In this essay, I will instead discuss 1982's 48 Hours. This is not a knock on documentary filmmaking as a whole. I just found that movie really slow.
No, hey, you don't, I hear you. I hear you, brother. You don't need to justify it to me.
Just a regular guy. I want to come home after work and crack a beer and watch Revenge of the Sith, okay? I don't need to be taught about neoliberalism, all right? I get enough of that.
I don't need to learn about it.
I'm in it right now. Anyway, spin the wheel. Move on.
Spinning the wheel. Next up is 762.
762 is, okay, this one's more fun. 2019's Lupin III, the First.
Oh, yeah, I think we watched this one together.
I think we did. We had a Lupin III, for those who don't know, is originally like a manga anime series from Japan about a charming thief, right? That's the simplest explanation.
Yeah, yeah.
And this was a 3D animated movie that was like a newer entry in the Lupin III canon, but was supposed to be like a prequel story about when he was a younger man, right?
I didn't remember that last part about it being a prequel story. You're probably right, though.
I think that's why it's called The First.
Ah, that makes sense.
That was a very Mike Myers
Yeah, thank you. That's what I was going for. Yeah.
It's a bit of a Dr. Evil move.
Yeah.
So, yeah, Lupin the Third's a fun one. That's one where I think a lot of people are big fans of the original anime series. It's very suave and stylish and has good music. This movie was maybe seen by fewer people, but I recall it being quite good.
Oh, yeah. I mean, Lupin the Third is great. It's inspired other, arguably more popular series. Like, I know that Cowboy Bebop was, like, heavily inspired by the original Lupin the Third. And after we watched this movie, I went and watched one of the Lupin the Third anime series, and I loved it. I was like, this is great. So this was a great entryway to just Lupin the Third. And there was also the Miyazaki, like Studio Ghibli Lupin the Third film.
The 70s one. Yeah, there's another Lupin movie that is in like traditional anime style. That one's even better. If we pull that one, I would put that pretty highly. I believe it was produced by Studio Ghibli. It was not made by, or no, Hayao Miyazaki had some role in it.
I believe he did. Yeah.
So if we pull that one, that one's worth expanding on more, I think, because that's just a fantastic standalone film in the series. This one, the 2019 film, just kind of like a solid animated movie, kind of like a family movie in terms of tone. It's not serious or anything. Just fun, exciting animation. I'd rank it pretty high.
Oh, how high would you rank it?
It's almost like that's why we're here. Lupin the Third, the First, probably moves up to. We actually have like a little block of animated movies towards the middle of the list so far. Our current number 11 is Porco Rosso, which is like a traditional Ghibli movie, and then right below it is 1997 Hercules from Disney. Where would you? I feel like it's going to land somewhere around these two.
I would definitely put it below both of those movies, though.
I would as well. I think it's fun. If we pulled that 70s Lupin movie, it would maybe be more in contention. This is just like solid. B+. I would
put the 70s one above those two you just mentioned, and this one like solidly below it.
Okay. I think maybe for ranking then, Lupin the Third, the First versus 1998's crime thriller Out of Sight. Who wins?
Gosh. Oh, that was the Clooney one, right? Was that
That's the Clooney, yep.
Ooh. Honestly, similar vibes. Both kind of like thief movies, heists in a way.
Like if Lupin, the character, was in the upcoming sequel to the Ocean's 11 movies, I'd be like, yeah, of course.
Oh, that'd be great. But if it was like Looney Tunes style, though, where it's like all the other actors are live action performers and he's just the one animated one on the team.
It's just a cartoon. Yeah, they're like, we need someone who could squeeze into this door. And he's like, I got it. And then he does like a Daffy Duck routine.
It just goes like 2D. Yeah.
I would say... Nope, you go. You tell me.
What were you going to say? The same time. Same time, just say above or below Out of Sight. Would you just say the word above or below? Okay.
3, 2, 1, below.
Below. Okay.
Okay. On my end, it sounded like you just waited to hear what I was going to say and then said the same thing.
It's like that SNL bit where they're trying to like sing, but they don't know the the lyrics and they're trying to like just guess what the next word is going to be.
Oh, yeah. The Fred Armisen bit where just trying to like follow the other's lead. Okay, well, we're in agreement then. Lupin III, the first, is almost as good, but just below 1998's Out of Sight, which would currently make it number 14 on our list so far.
Not bad. Respectable position.
Yeah, I definitely think that a factor in how we rank these, because it's so off the cuff, is like the impression that they leave. Like, I'd say we watched that movie like 4 or 5 years ago. I don't really remember it very well. I remember I liked it, but not much in specific, and I think that does kind of knock it down a little bit.
That's a good point. I think if there's one thing that's a determining factor in where things land on the list, it's just general impression. That's why Revenge of the Sith is number 1 right now. It just it's a
been
very strong
guidepost for our entire lives.
Yeah, and a dear friend.
Do you think that when we decide that Revenge of the Sith should go on top of the list, I should just source the audio of her saying, "So this is how liberty dies"?
Oh, you absolutely should. Yes. I don't see any reason why you shouldn't.
Thunderous Count Dooku.
Thunderous Count Dooku, which is how we've been quoting it for our entire lives.
That's what I mean. It's too deep. It's too deep in the psyche. We've been talking about these movies for 20 years. We have like layers of references that are just between the two of us about them.
Yeah.
How could it go anywhere but number 1?
Yeah, I remember, there was one Christmas a couple of years ago where it was like all we talked about. Like, it was just like Christmas Day or Christmas Eve maybe, and we just spent the entire time talking about the prequels.
Yeah.
And it's just like, this is what's important.
Listen, they're bad movies, kind of. But the way to fix them and make them, like, flawless would not involve drastic changes. And that's the thing that gets me. A lot of people are like, what if the prequels were good? And they just make a new movie and call it a Star Wars prequel. And I'm like, they had a lot. They had a lot that should still be there. If anything, they didn't go hard enough on certain ideas. Cough, cough, Sith Jar Jar Binks.
Sure, yeah. And they've spawned so... We're back to Star Wars now, but real quick. They've spawned so much related media that fills in those blanks in a way or just expands on those ideas. So there was clearly a lot there that people really latched onto.
That's what I mean. The Star Wars prequels added backfilled in lore that has allowed Star Wars to be an IP that still gets new stuff today. Like, there was other things that added to that too. I mean, there's novels and games that added to like the ancient history of Star Wars. But the prequels gave so much that other authors and creators have been able to latch onto to make interesting stuff. There's a Darth Maul animated series that's brand new. There's 6,000 episodes of that Clone Wars TV show. And some people think that's oversaturation. I just think it's giving the people what they want.
Well, I mean, I was talking to a friend of mine recently who, you know, about...
Weird way to phrase that. You know.
Well, I don't know.
Obama.
It was me and Barack. We're talking about the Star Wars prequels and the Old Republic games. But even that stuff, like, because you mentioned the stuff that goes into even the older history of Star Wars, like the Old Republic series of games, which I also really love those. But those came out around the same time as the prequels, and even those have that DNA in it as well, especially with like the visuals and everything. So I really think a lot of what people like about Star Wars does come from those movies. And one of the many problems with the new ones is that they just didn't introduce any new ideas.
No. Like, if you want a movie that tries to nostalgia bait purely from what's on paper in the original Star Wars trilogy, that's how you get Solo. Like, the Solo movie.
I haven't even seen that one.
They have nothing to pull on. They literally have to invent, like, a nonsensical wraparound conversation so that the guy can declare that his name is Solo. He's like, you're traveling alone. I'm going to write your name on your passport. And it's like, why isn't that just his name? This is awful.
Yeah, that's stupid. And then Darth Maul's in it, too, from what I've heard. Spoilers, I guess, for anyone who hasn't seen Solo.
Oh, is he?
But
I fell asleep during it.
That says enough about it.
Anyway, that's our second loop back to Revenge of the Sith. But as we move on, I think we just finished talking about Lupin III. So let's spin the wheel.
Yeah.
What else we got?
This next one, it's going to be Phantom Menace. Just you watch.
Just you wait.
Oh, I don't know. 1222, 1222.
1222. Number 1222 on the alphabetical list. You guessed it. Another sad documentary I watched in college. The Act of Killing.
Okay, so should we just put it right next to the other one and move on?
Let me look it up. Hold on. The film follows this is from 2012. The film follows individuals who participated in the Indonesian mass killings of the 1960s, wherein alleged communists and people opposed to the New Order regime were tortured and killed. And many of the people involved are still in power at the time the movie was made.
Oh, so it's like a lighthearted family film.
It's like a
type
lighthearted,
situation.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Great.
I will say, I believe this was a pretty highly acclaimed documentary when it was released.
For what it revealed?
I'm trying to remember, because I don't want to even attempt to like give a full picture, because I'll end up just leaving stuff out. Like, this would require more of a formal presentation. I would say maybe go read about the film yourself if you're interested. But if this is the thing I'm thinking of, it was an interesting case where the documentary filmmakers had like access to the people in charge who had been involved in these crimes against humanity, and like the people were happy to like give interviews and be really involved in the project. So it's really like chilling to kind of have these people gladly participating in a recounting of something they did that most people would be horrified by. And I think they even did this really bizarre exercise where they brought the real people involved along to film like a reenactment as footage for the movie.
That's kind of insane, actually.
Well, and as I recall, like part of the end of the story is that by forcing them to film these like reenactments of the things they did to these people that were killed, it like caused some of them to be really like emotionally impacted by it and kind of remorseful. Like the act of recreating the crime from the side of the people who actually had done it, like really shocked them and led to these kind of interesting, like conversations afterwards by these people who actually for the first time seemed a little remorseful about it.
Wow. Honestly, I'm glad we didn't just blow past that one, because that's really interesting. That's like a psychological exploration of these things.
Yeah, I'm trying to read the end of the like plot synopsis to like jog my memory. It does say that like one of the people being interviewed like had like a panic attack, like in reaction to finally being made to feel empathy for what they had done to other people.
It's really crazy that people are able to turn that off in the first place. Because it sounds like they're really not able to turn it off, but they're able to suppress it enough that they're able to go out and do these things. And then later, those feelings resurface because they were always there. That's just really an interesting look into, I don't know, I guess what people are capable of.
Yeah, it's a heavy documentary. Hypernormalisation is talking about politics, and so it's easier, but it's not like in the specific, so it's a little bit easier for me to dismiss it as just like somebody's essay about the subject. Whereas Act of Killing was actually a pretty ambitious documentary project that used that type of filmmaking to affect someone in a way that no other version could. I think even a fictionalized adaptation of the story, if you filmed a narrative film about that event and showed it to the people, I don't think that would have had nearly the same impact as what they were made to do instead.
Yeah, that's why documentary filmmaking is interesting, because, I obviously I know other people that work in production, and a friend of mine worked on like documentary projects for a while, and I remember she was working on one that was something about the school system, that she was like traveling to different states and going to all these different schools. And I was like, well, what's the documentary like about though? And she was like, yeah, we don't really know yet, because it was like, they had almost like an idea of what they wanted to explore and then go out and film it and then kind of find the story in the edit sometimes almost. And so it's like documentary filmmaking can be kind of experimental in that way.
It is. And I think that the results of what was done for the Act of Killing, I mean, it's totally a case where, like, if they hadn't gotten what they were looking for out of it, it might have just not even become a movie. Like, sometimes you go out to capture a subject and you're like, we don't have a feature. Like, we don't have a story that we captured well enough to make into something. But this one definitely did. I am completely at a loss for where to put it on our silly little ranking list. I mean, it's pretty good. It's a good documentary. It's controversial. There's like a ton of citations, even if you just like look at the IMDb or the wiki about whether or not it was a like accurate retelling of the history of the crimes committed in that country or the political history. Like, it's a very charged subject, and there's a lot where you could say from that documentary ethics perspective is like, is what they did right? Is it even maybe disingenuous to ask the audience to care about someone who did horrible things feeling bad about it 40 years later and suffering no consequences for it?
Sure. And that's the other thing about documentaries.
Stuff.
Yeah, totally. And that's the other thing I would say about documentaries too is that's what they do. It's like they present a narrative, but it's presented as fact. And so it really does. I think a lot of people would watch a documentary and kind of take everything they're given as information at face value, because that's how it's being presented to them. It's like, oh, this is documentary, this is real things that happened, but you can't always completely trust everything that you're hearing because they're still trying to tell a story and structure it in a certain way and has an agenda of sorts, even if they might not even know what it is.
Yeah.
So, yeah, like you said, documentary ethics and that type of filmmaking.
It's hardest for me to rank documentaries in this list because I think narrative films cover 90% of genres, and so you can more like easily compare. Documentary is so hard for me to say. Like, I'd say in the documentary field, good movie. Is it below the Hot Fuzz line? I don't know.
Ooh, Hot Fuzz. I was looking more at the Big Short line. That's
those are our two. Yeah.
Yeah.
I would say Active Killing is above the Big Short valley.
But now you're comparing
below
it
the
to
Hot
Lupin
Fuzz
III.
Forge.
Yeah.
I'm gonna vibe it out below Hercules.
Okay, sure. Yeah,
okay.
I'm not going to argue too strongly one way or the other for this one, especially because I haven't seen it.
But
again, like we mentioned recently, a lot of this is going to be based on the impression it left, and this one seems like it left a strong impression. It was at least unique in that way.
I was able to remember stuff about the format of the documentary, and this is something I watched 10 years ago and probably wrote a paper about, and probably had not slept much before seeing in the first place. So I was up all night finishing the Batman paper, and then I had to go to class.
Right. I was going to say we were going to college ragers, but it was Batman. It was definitely Batman.
Definitely Batman. It's just me alone being like, you tell him, Mr. J.
Mr. J.
Okay. That's for Active Killing, number 13 on our list so far out of 25, kind of right towards the middle. I'd say the things above it are like peak for their genre, and this one is like semi-peak for the documentary genre.
Semi-peak. Okay. Should we do a silly one? Let's do a silly one.
I would love a silly one. Could you maybe pull Star Wars again?
Let's do a silly one. It's 1576. This one's so silly.
Can't wait to tell you how silly it is. 1576. What a 50-50. What a 50-50. It's an animated movie, but it's really sad. We're talking about 1978's Watership Down.
Oh my goodness. Oh, I gotta say, we've pulled so many animated movies. I really wasn't expecting there to be so many so quickly.
Yeah, because it's not like it's a majority of the alphabetized list, but through sheer coincidence, we keep pulling animated stuff from different categories. Like, we haven't pulled just another 90s Disney movie yet. We're jumping around between, like, countries, because Watership Down, is that a British film? No.
This is another one I haven't seen. This is from
your
list.
Oh, okay.
No,
okay.
Yeah.
I'll try to move quicker on this one. Watership Down is an adaptation of a book that, I mean, for a point of reference, if you need it, it's almost like akin to something. It's not a fantasy story. It's more in the style where it's a story about animals, but like it personifies the animals with like voices and characters, but they still move around like regular animal creatures.
How odd. I'm trying to picture that, but it's difficult.
The animation's really pretty. It has almost like the image in my head is almost like a watercolor-esque palette. It's a very nice looking movie. It's a very well-made story, but it's also really upsetting picture like the Redwall books if there
I
was
was
no
gonna mention
fantasy.
Redwall.
Yeah, picture Redwall, but none of the fantasy or fun, and just the sad killing parts.
Man, Redwall's so good. Should we just talk about that instead?
That's a book, but Watership Down.
There was a show. There was a PBS show.
There was a PBS show. That's true. That's true. But we're a movie show. Watership Down is a weird one. Like, it again, quite good, quite solid. It's a famous novel adapted into a famous story that I think is still like for children, but just has some like upsetting imagery in it. Like when the animals attack each other, they like draw blood and people die. It's kind of trying to make theater out of the ways in which animals actually like prey and hunt on each other in the wild.
But there's a story, like it's presented like a nature documentary, or
No, not at all. It's like a narrative story with like characters. I'm trying to remember. Let me just look up the basic plot so I don't sound silly.
this is supposed to be a silly one. It was supposed to be silly.
If you Google Watership Down movie, one of the first things that pops up is a YouTube video essay, and the thumbnail just says childhood trauma.
Good.
Also, I'm spot on. It was a British film. How did I remember that?
That's just, there's not a lot of room in your head for important things, but
What?
stuff like this, it's right in there.
Okay. Rabbits. The main characters are rabbits. Apparently one of them is named Fiver, which is just funny.
Fiver the rabbit. That's fun.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think I could do justice to this one in a short form conversation because there's a lot in it. It's a very like rich story for children about like the horrors of the world, and there's a lot of things like that. It's like how people talk about like Return to Oz, like that odd Wizard of Oz sequel, how it's like really oddly scary even to watch as an adult. And you're like, why were kids being exposed to this?
Oh, I'm not familiar with that. Return to Oz. Is that a live action film?
It was. Yeah, it was like a much later sequel about, I think, some other novel in that same world that just has a lot of like frightening imagery in it that scared a lot of kids when they saw it.
Huh. That's interesting. I'm gonna have to look into that.
So yeah, I don't know. This is one like it has theatrical qualities to it. The animals all are like, they live in like a human-esque society with like different roles and families and stuff, but they're just trying to navigate a world that I think when you zoom out is like the human world. You know what I mean? It's like they'll be trying to like cross the grasslands, but then you'll zoom out and you'll see that it's like, oh, there's like a farm in the background. Like there's people living here too.
Okay. Sure. I have a rough idea of what this is. Where do you think where's it gonna live on this list?
I mean, we're going straight to Animated Junction because I feel like a lot of these are
Animated
just
Junction.
fairly good animated films. Watership Down, to me, is above the one we just talked about. I'd put it above Active Killing. I would put it maybe even right below Dune, like at the top of the animated heap.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, if you like it more than like Hercules and Porco Rosso.
I think it's one where it's upsetting to watch, but maybe has a little bit more oomph, like messaging wise. Like, again, Porco Rosso and Hercules are really fantastic animated films, but they both suffer from like the strengths of their peers. There's better 90s Disney movies, there's better Ghibli movies. Watership Down kind of stands on its own. It has an interesting quality to it, and it's a good story. And it left an impression. I saw that movie when I was like 15. I mean, it's been a long time. And I do still remember the vibes pretty strongly.
Oh, wow. I didn't know. When did you watch this? What motivated this?
No idea. Couldn't tell you. I don't have like a sense memory of like what I was doing or what was going on with it. I just know I've seen the film at some point.
Okay. Watership Down.
Watership Down. We are having trouble today, folks. We got an early lead with Star Wars, and now it's just like a memory test for me.
Well, once again, it's all movies you've seen. Well,
I know.
We both saw Lupin, but yeah.
You know what? Why don't we spin the wheel again and see if we can find something a little more meaty that we can both talk about?
Spin that meaty wheel. Don't say that. Don't say that.
Don't say that.
1374.
1374. Okay. Have you even seen this? The 2016 remake of The Magnificent Seven.
Wait, the remake of The Magnificent Seven, which itself is like an adaptation of Seven Samurai, is that right?
That's right. The Magnificent Seven was the original one. I think it was made in like the 60s and follows the same basic plot outline as Seven Samurai and like 100 other films, where it's like the small town is being taken advantage of by raiders, and so they go grab like a small but elite team to like teach the town how to defend itself, and then there's a big fight at the end. It's the same plot as Ninja Turtles 3 as well.
Well, of course, that's where I was going to go next, was
That's
Ninja Turtles
obviously
3.
where we're going to go next. Ninja Turtles 3, because we're an adult program and we talk about serious film.
Yeah, and Bug's Life. It's also Bug's Life, too.
It's also Bug's Life, that's true. So yeah, that's the original Magnificent Seven. I haven't seen that one, I don't think. But I guess in the 2010s, they did a remake, and I think Ethan Hawke was in it. That's what I remember.
Yeah, so to answer your question, no. I don't think I've seen any of those films.
You don't think I've seen any of those films. Okay. I have a strong vibe about this one that it's going to go right below Doctor Strange 2.
Okay, sure.
I got nothing on this one. It's a dull remake of a much better movie that in its own right is okay. It's not like it's like a poorly constructed film, but kind of falls into that camp of like, why did we do this again?
That story has been adapted so many times. Aside from the ones we just mentioned, it pops up in... I feel like there's been several TV shows. I think there's been like an episode of Star Trek I've seen where they do it. And it was definitely an episode of the Star Wars Clone Wars show, just to bring it back to the prequels one more time.
And the Mandalorian show did a Seven Samurai episode.
Yep.
But it was like two samurai.
Yeah, that's what they called it. It's a really easy story to adapt, I guess.
Yeah, and it's been done better in virtually every other example that we have named. There is no value in this 2010's Magnificent Seven.
Great. Love that.
Moving on.
Next. Gosh, we keep getting... I'm gonna hit the wheel. I'm gonna hit it a few times. Just to mix, just to wake it up.
There are no... Wake it up. There's no rules. There's no rules against how often you hit the button. That's fine.
Just gonna land on a number I like. Number 6. Number 6.
Oh, gosh. You've got to be kidding me. Number 6 is 2013's, because obviously it's going to start with a number on the alphabetized list. 2013's 12 Years a Slave.
Damn, we got some bummers this episode.
This is the biggest remem bummer I've ever experienced, and we've done it 3 times. So 12 Years a Slave was an Oscar film to me. Very much like it was made with a very heavy emphasis on the lead performers getting a chance to earn, Best Actor nominations. And I think it did.
I think so too. I definitely think it did.
I don't recall if it has source material, like if it's an adapted from a book or someone's biography, but it is a very harrowing story about a man in the American South during the time of slavery who I think was maybe a free man and then got captured and made into a slave. Anyway, just some horrible injustice to start the movie, and then he spends 12 years as a slave, and then maybe by the very end of the story is free. But it was, if I'm remembering correctly, the lead was Chiwetel Ejiofor. Is that right?
Yeah, I think so. This was a huge movie at the time. It was, like you said, it was a big Oscar movie that year.
Yes, Chiwetel Ejiofor was the lead. Michael Fassbender was the big racist guy, I think. I guess Brad Pitt was in it too?
Oh, okay.
Actually, yeah, this is a pretty stacked cast. There's more people in this than I remember. Benedict Cumberbatch was in the movie. Just a who's who of popular actors. This might have been, because one of the other people in it is Lupita Nyong'o, and I think this might have been a breakout role for her.
Yeah,
she's done a lot of stuff since this movie, but at the time it might have been a breakout performance.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. That sounds familiar.
I mean, really, how much you enjoy this film is kind of just how much interest you have in heavy historical dramas about really messed up times in history, which there's a lot of those. So of them, this is a pretty good one. I will say I don't watch movies like this a lot.
Sure. There's a lot of artistic value and historical value in this type of film and this type of story. but it's really depressing. And if that's not what you go to the movies for, then probably not going to like this one.
But I cannot deny it was a very well-made film. Let me see who directed it. Directed by Steve McQueen, who also did 2011's Shame. It looks like this might be Steve McQueen's biggest film, but he has also made a number of other popular dramas.
That's the guy from Cars, right?
That's the guy from Cars. Yeah, he says Kachoon or whatever. Okay, 12 Years a Slave. It's going towards the top for sure. I mean, it's a very solid movie with a lot of acclaim for good reason. I would say, I mean, it's in the top 10, probably, right?
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
I'd say it's even, I'd put it above Hot Fuzz.
Yeah, I got no problem putting it above Hot Fuzz.
I don't know how much else to put it above, because I will say, does anybody talk about the movie now?
It's definitely one of those film titles where if you mentioned it, people would be like, oh yeah, I know that movie. So it has staying power. It left a cultural impact. So I think it gets a lot of points for that.
Maybe, hear me out, we put it above my little block of 80s movies that I like that are currently towards the top. We could put 12 Years in at number 5?
Yeah.
Let's do that. We got a new top 5 movie.
Let's do that. This is part of just the challenge of the dichotomy of films, of comparing like a silly movie that you really like, because right above that right now is Attack of the Clones.
Yeah, and I'm not supposed to mention that we didn't put it above Attack of the Clones.
Yeah, I'm doing it. I'm going to be honest. I'm going to shoot straight with the audience here. We did not put it above Attack of the Clones. But that's just like... That's the world of film. It's such a broad spectrum of what you can do. It's the same with like those documentaries. A documentary could be so many different things. A film can be so many different things.
Are you trying to tell me that it is not effective, efficient, or sensical to try to rank every movie ever made on one list?
Let's do the next one.
Let's do the next one. Let's try to get, I think if we get 2 more in, then we'll have 30 movies total.
That sounds good. That's a good start. How many could there be?
How many could there be? We're probably like halfway done.
I'm tired. 971.
Me too, Blog. Okay, this is more middle ground. Frank, we saw this movie in the theater. I don't think either of us liked it. 2015's Project Almanac.
What?
No, you remember Project Almanac.
Tell me more words than that.
No. It's a found footage time travel movie about these kids, teenagers, who discover that they have a machine that lets them go back in time. They find it in somebody's attic. And then they initially have all these like rules about how they only go back as a whole group and how they try not to change too many things. But then the main character ends up trying to change too many things about the past in order to essentially get with this girl that he likes. And eventually it unravels and starts to ruin the lives of everyone involved. And it's a whole thing.
That might be worse than Kingsman, honestly.
It was bad. It was a bad film. Neither of us liked it. I don't know why we saw it.
Yeah, I feel like I've been like repressing that movie. Like, you told me the title and I was like, I have no memory of this place. And then you started to describe it and it was like these dark emotions started coming up. And I was like, oh yeah. That movie was awful.
I was there 3,000 years ago.
Yeah. Destroy it. Throw it in the fire.
Yeah, Project Almanac stinks. It's not good. The found footage aspect of it is like a horrible gimmick that the movie struggles to work around because everything that you're being shown was supposedly captured on like one guy's camcorder. And so they just always have to find a place to put the camcorder, even though they're moving and going places. And it just does not work.
It's stupid. Let's do the next one.
It's the bottom of the list. Project Almanac.
It's at the bottom.
Terrible film. One more.
Terrible. Una mas. All right. This is, okay, number 40. Number 30 is going to be number 40.
Number 30 is number 40. That sounds like a riddle. Okay, number 40. A little bit more of a crowd pleaser, although it's a horror film. 2018's A Quiet Place.
Oh, I haven't seen that.
You haven't seen A Quiet Place? Oh my gosh. Do you even like movies?
Not really.
Why did I see this and you didn't? I don't even watch horror movies. Okay.
That's a big movie. That's a big one.
Big movie. It had
People
multiple
are gonna
sequels.
have opinions about that. Yeah.
People liked it enough. It's a story about a apocalypse scenario of sorts where these aliens arrived on Earth that cannot see but are extremely sensitive to sound. And so the only way that some humans have survived a couple of years in is by making absolutely no noise. And so your whole film is this family of four, including Jim from The Office. What's his name?
John Krasinski.
John Krasinski. And Emily Blunt, who I think are married IRL. They're the couple in the film. And they're trying to live in safety with their two children while evading the evil murder monsters.
I think he had a large part in the making of that movie. I think he was possibly the writer, director, producer, question mark. He was more than just the lead in that case.
It was his project. Yeah. It was a Krasinski project. And again, like you said, had pop culture impact. People were riffing on it. There was SNL skits about it. There's been 2 sequels, if not 3. Frankly, I don't get it. I thought it was okay.
I think it just had a unique premise. And a lot of horror movies will get by on that. You know what
true.
I mean?
That's true. It's just a gimmick for you to understand the nature of the danger. And I guess given how much horror is about people screaming, the idea that you can't make noise is kind of different.
Yeah. People really, there's just something base and like instinctual. People really respond to horror movies. And I think from a marketing perspective, if you have a horror movie with a simple, easy to understand gimmick, there was another one that got kind of made fun of and memed on a bit. Was that Sandra Bullock movie? Like,
Bird Box.
Bird Box, yeah. Yeah, where she's like wearing the blindfold. I haven't seen that one either, but is it like
they're not allowed to see stuff? I don't know.
They're not allowed to, yeah. So it makes sense to me why Quiet Place took off, especially, again, people love The Office. It's gross how much people love The Office, and I think John Krasinski like really
pick a new thing, like the Star Wars prequels,
like the Star Wars prequels, you dum-dums.
My favorite part of A Quiet Place is when John Krasinski looks at his wife and goes, "You's a thinking we's gonna die."
And then Darth Jar Jar kills him.
Darth Jar Jar kills him. Yeah. I guess. Okay, so you haven't seen it. Quiet Place is a very competently made film, like one of those ones that really tries to stick to the beats that are in the script. The very beginning of the story, they hit you with the tragedy up front because the couple has 3 children, and in the opening sequence, I think they're going to like raid an old store or like a gas station shop or something, and there's this very quiet scene where one of the younger kids, like the really little ones, finds this little robot toy that like lights up and makes noise and accidentally sets it off. And like the instant it happens, they're dead. Like they just get swiped from off screen by one of these monsters after a very long build up.
Yes, I actually saw just that exact scene recently somewhere. And I immediately had a lot of questions. And I'm sure other people have brought this up with this movie too. But like even in that scene, like John Krasinski is like running towards his son to try and save him. And it's like, why are the monsters not attacking him? He's clearly making a lot of noise. He's running over there.
It does have a logistical
What are the
problem.
rules? Yeah.
The whole movie has logistical issues where, like, for example, nobody can speak above a very low whisper. And then there's a scene early on in the first act where John Krasinski takes his son to this little spot he found that's next to a waterfall. And he says, like, we can talk here. The noise of the water is louder than us. They wouldn't be able to trace, like, they won't hear it. So we can talk normally, albeit with this loud noise behind us. And I was like, why don't you live next to the waterfall?
If they're never going to go, just, have like a white noise machine on in your apartment and you'll be fine.
To me, I think that a lot of the questions people had was just like, how did these things beat the military? Because I think the weakness of the monsters by the end of the first movie is just that they're really vulnerable to a specific frequency of sound that like makes them just die. And it's like, really? The military couldn't
Yeah.
figure this out in what would probably have been a decent amount of time. I get that they're like supposed to be borderline indestructible aside from that weakness, but it seemed fishy.
There's a lot of logical gaps that you need to just ignore to appreciate a movie like that.
And
Which I'm
another thing,
fine
how
with.
did Michael Myers survive all those times he got killed?
Doesn't make sense.
Exactly.
Really doesn't make
0 out of
sense
10.
if you think about it. Yeah, that's what I mean though. It's when you're watching a horror movie, you're not really, I guess, there to ask those kinds of questions. But when you have kind of a concept like that, it's also kind of hard not to. So I'm sure we're not the first people to bring up these kind of complaints with that movie. But like you said, they keep making sequels, so clearly it's not enough of an issue.
Yeah, it's a real CinemaSins type movie. Like, actually, that doesn't even make sense. And it's like, well, it's really a story about family. But, actually, you know what the scariest part of the whole movie is? Is they do this whole setup about they have a basement with these like rickety wooden stairs down to the basement. And at one point, like a really big like nail gets uprooted and is just sticking straight up. And they spend like 10 minutes teasing that Emily Blunt is going to just like step foot first in her bare feet on a big sharp nail. And it's the most upsetting thing in the whole movie.
Wait, so she's like slowly trying to go down the stairs without making noise?
And you
And there's
see
a
this
nail?
big upright like rusty nail, and they're like, "Oh, she gonna scream if she steps on that nail." And then I think she does.
And then she has to not scream.
And then yeah, I think that's the beat. Is here she has to like be in a ton of pain, but like not make a bunch of noise. So anyway, it's fine. You might have noticed, Frank, on our list, I was typing while we were talking. Quiet Place found its way right below Lupin III.
Yeah, I'm okay with that.
Just above the Big Short line, which is to say, perfectly good movies go above that line, and A Quiet Place is perfectly good. I don't know. It just didn't do anything much for me beyond the initial premise.
Sure, yeah, again, I'm surprised you even watched it, but...
Me too. I think I watched it by myself. I don't even know why.
Well, because if there was anyone else there, you would have made too much noise. It's gotta be quiet.
True. And then the movie would have got me.
The movie would have got you.
Yeah.
Jumped right out of the screen.
Boo scary. Anyway, that makes for... I think we ranked 10 movies today, and we're over our hour, so we need to start our wrap-up. Frank, we've done it again. Our third episode, our ongoing journey of ranking every movie ever made. How do you think we're doing?
Well, we got a new number one and a new number the bottom this time, so...
New number the bottom. That's right.
That's pretty good. I think that's progress.
I feel like the wheel that controls our fate threw us a bone at the beginning by giving us Revenge of the Sith, and then stomped on us for the rest of the episode. Just random, obscure stuff.
Documentaries, like
documentaries,
old animated
playoffs?
Movies. Playoffs? Talking about playoffs? I'd rather talk about playoffs.
So yeah, I mean, again, this is the premise. We had fun. The first episode was gibberish. The second episode, we had a ton of crowd favorites. This one, this is where the real work began. We really have to start sifting.
Yeah, and that's what we're here for. We're here to put in the work.
Put in the work.
Because people need to know. To rank every movie ever made.
And when the list is done and the Smithsonian pays us for it, it'll really have been worth it.
Is that who's gonna pay us? The Smithsonian?
The Smithsonian Museum.
Is that what do they do there normally? Outside?
Buy lists.
Are they just waiting? Do they just have like an empty room that's waiting for this list to go into it?
I think so. And it'll be a modern art piece. I do think I've forgotten to mention this in our previous two, but for the listeners at home, you're free to help us make the list. I would say that if you're listening to this right now on YouTube or Spotify or Apple Music, leave a comment, tell us any movie that you watched this week, whether it was good or bad, and where it should fit on the list as it stands right now. And I'll be honest, I might just blindly accept people's rationale and just put it there.
Yeah. I mean, I'm starting to think this might take a while, so if people want to help us speed it up,
gotta get this thing moving. Yeah. So again, let us know. Let us know your thoughts on the episode. Let us know if we were wrong about anything this time around. Should Revenge of the Sith be even higher than number one, perhaps?
I was considering it. I was considering making like a 0, but
upper echelon, S+ rank.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. But yeah, let us know just a movie you saw, where it should go on the list, and we will include some of those when we record next time. Frank, thank you so much again for joining me. Anything specific to plug, or are we out?
I'm just going to throw it back to the movie. Nate, Moriah, and Venice, now available for streaming on both Amazon Prime Video and Tubi.
And Tubi, free with ads on Tubi. No barrier to entry there. Again, that is That is the film that Frank co-produced and shot along with our good friend Austin Balke. Independent drama available now. We promise we'll stop plugging it constantly, but it did just come out. So this is kind of our renewed push.
I never made that promise. So
Frank has not made that promise. It's the only reason he's here. He's here to talk about A Quiet Place and chew bubblegum. And he's never seen A Quiet Place.
Yeah, and I don't like bubblegum. But it's going to be...
Oh, man.
That movie's going to be on the list, too. I'm sure at one point we'll pull Nate, Moriah, and Venice, and it'll land on there.
It'll go up there. Pretty high up there, as we keep saying. But yeah, that'll do it for this episode. Let us know if you want to see more from this series. Let us know movies you've seen recently and where they should go. And until next time, this has been Meet Your Double Feature.
It has?
Well, yeah, that's the show that we do.
Oh.
Yeah. You've been recording, right? You've been recording your microphone?
I think so. I got you here. I got a question. So if you took, like, a football team, right?
Uh-huh.
And like a pro football team and like a pro baseball team, right? And then you made them play, like, basketball against each other, who do you think would win that?
Good night, everybody.